money, honey. Get the money, honey. Money, honey. Get the money, honey. Hey, 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 hey. Get the money, honey. Get the money, honey. Get the money, honey. Get the money, honey. Hey, 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 hey. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Give yourself a round of applause. I love my little jingle. I really need to make time to get into to record this, my little jingle that I do every week. My name is Christina L Turner, Kingmaker. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. I am happy today. I am grateful today. Today is a wonderful day. Today is Tuesday. And we are in the month of April. We've already had Easter Sunday already. Man, time is flying by. Before you know it's going to be Memorial Day weekend. And so I am just happy and I'm grateful that you are here and that you are tuning in to Christina L Turner Kingmaker Business Talk, where we talk about here grants, where all the money is, new grants, new information for scholarships, for your business, for your nonprofit, and for just different genres of businesses that you are in that can help you financially in your business without, you know, all the added stress. I know a lot of people don't want to get loans. Well, if you are new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Also, you can share my videos and also put on the notification so you know when I come on Tuesdays. All right. So I am glad that you're here. I am an entrepreneur just like you. And the challenges that we've all had being in entrepreneurship is finances. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You want to keep as much money as you can in your business for your well-being. And also we're talking about leaving legacy, and we just not having business to say that we have business. We're creating businesses and empires so that we can leave a legacy for our children's children. So yes, I am an entrepreneur. I have a wedding event planning company. I have a tax and business consulting company, and it was a great tax season. I thank God for the clients that I have, and I thank God for the new clients that came to me. I am very happy and grateful for that. And if you haven't filed your tax season, the season's not over. You can still file, okay? No penalties for you yet, even if you owe, unless you need to pay, okay? So you don't have the penalties and the interest. What else did I wanted to say? Oh yeah, another thing too, before I really get into all the grants, because I gotta do it quickly because I have an engagement that I need to be at. So I gotta be off of this as soon as possible. So I'm going to be here probably till 3 o'clock if necessary, because I do have a lot of information to give to you. But one of the things that I want to tell you, that character is everything. It doesn't matter how much money, how prolific you are and what you do in your business, the people that you know, your character is everything. A good name is far better than riches. And I'm just going to say that on how you treat people is so prolific. I've had so many different experiences, whereas people, where I could have been taken out of character, I could have acted unseemly. And I'm so glad that my grandmother instilled in me is to be a lady at all times. That was some very good wisdom. People may think that is passive, but I also believe that submission is power. I believe that it is very powerful. It is intentional to be submissive. You have to be in a different type of mindset. You learn how to do that even in business, on even dealing with clients. Even when it comes to what it is that they want to do in their future, there is an element of submission that you do take a posture in with being assertive. You need to know how to create balance. So with that, we're going to get into it. That's my little soapbox talk to you right now for your business, and also that you can pertain to it for your own life, you know, for your own personal life, for your relationship, your intimate relationships with your children, with everything. It just be quick to hear and not get so much into your emotions. And, you know, things, I'm not going to say go with the flow, but some things you just have to go with the flow on. You cannot have control over how people behave. You don't have control over that, but you do have control over yourself, and you do have control on what you are going to take into your space and without. I have fired clients. Yes, I have fired clients because of whatever that the dynamic that just was not working for me to help them to be successful. And you have to also know how to do that. So anyway, let's get there, okay? You're gonna get to the money, honey. Get to the money, honey. Get to the money, honey. All right, so the very first grant that is up is called the Awesome Grant. This grant is for the United States and for Canada. This grant is to nonprofits, okay? An annual budget for your group or organization must be less than $50,000, and the immediate project for which you are requesting funding must be less than $40,000. So if you have a nonprofit and your annual budget is under $50,000, you can qualify for this particular grant. There's another grant called the Pollination Project. This grant is also open. Okay, this grant is open that I just mentioned, the Awesome Grant and also the Pollination Grant. They are open to this day. Okay, you want to get into this as well. This is also for a nonprofit. This is going to be, let me slide down the scale because we put this stuff together to make sure, so I could tell you what the monetary amount is for this particular grant. Is $1,000. And you're going to go to www.awesomefoundation.org. And then for the next grant is the Pollination Project. For you to apply is also the pollinationproject.org. I also want to, before I even move on, I do want to apologize about not posting the links in there for last week when I was on. There was a communication gap between me and Mr. Kwame. And once I got done with having my time with you, when he was getting prepared for this week for me to be here, he accidentally discarded the information. So if you need to go back to the videos from last week, just listen. You can stop, write down the name of the organizations, the foundations that I gave you, and you can go for look for the grants for that. There is, on these particular grants, there is not a closing date. They are open now. Okay, so this is fresh off of the press. I'm trying to go back here because, here we go. I love this laptop, and then I don't love it. The laptop that I have that I work on, I can touch it and all that other stuff. And sometimes it gets like a little wonky because when I touch it wrong, it does what it's supposed to do, but I'm wrong. Okay. Okay. So here's another one. This is for a nonprofit called the Black Land and Power Fund. The Black Liberation Pool Fund pools resources together and then allocated to people who are in tune to the ecosystem, a Black-led social change and organizations around the country. And this is for the US. Also, the National Black Food and Justice Alliance is a coalition of Black-led organization aimed at developing Black leadership, supporting Black communities, organizing for Black self-determination, and building institutions for Black food sovereignty and liberation. And for the Black Liberation Pool Fund, you're going to go to the network. I'm going to post the link below for you as well so that you can see that. And also for the Black Food Justice Alliance, I'm going to post that link for you as well. Okay. There's another grant called and these are all for nonprofits that I'm speaking on. I'm just talking about nonprofits in this moment. So if you have a nonprofit, this grant is going to be for you. The Philadelphia Black Giving Circle, it is for the city of Philadelphia. These grants are for Black-led nonprofits in the Philadelphia, in the city of Philadelphia. That operates on a budget of less than $1 million a year. So if you know someone who is in the Philadelphia area and they are looking for a grant for their particular nonprofit, will be an idea for you to tell them to send them here. And that particular grant, I'm going to also have it posted inside of the description, okay? Here's another grant called the Black, Indigenous, and People of Color Fund. This is from the state of Maine. And you gotta need to definitely look at the website. Excuse me, I just have the hiccups. I just had like orange juice, I don't know. So the Black, Indigenous, and People of Color Fund for the state of Maine, the goal of the grant is to help Black, Indigenous, or people of color in Maine, okay, in the state of Maine, to achieve greater equity by investing in existing, new, and emerging leadership and nonprofit organizations, changing policies and practices that negatively impact Black, Indigenous, and or people of color because of their race, okay? Their supporting efforts are to alleviate the impact of race-based discrimination and disparities. So you want to get with that. Now, here is a grant that is due by the, what's today? This is due, well, this grant was opened, I should say, was opened March the 18th. This is the Black Belt Community Foundation, all right? So the Black Belt Community Foundation their vision is to transform the Black Belt where all of their residents contribute to healthy communities and to share their gifts and productive regional economy. This is a worldwide grant. This is a US grant, is not specifically located, so that this is open. There's another one called the CTHP grant, which is in Connecticut. And I know it seems like I'm going really, really fast because I have so many. I want to get to some business grants and I want to get to some scholarships because I know that there are students that are still applying for scholarships. So I'm going to try to bring it down just a little bit, okay? All right, so the CTHP Maintenance and Repair Grant Program for religious properties. If religious properties would be those that have a church or a synagogue, to be eligible, you must apply. Your organization must be a 501c3. You must be in the state of Connecticut. Your IRS designation, you need to have closed you cannot have any open grants available, so being considered for another grant, and or previously in consideration for a matching grant, and be listed on you must be listed on the state or national registry, or not registry on the historical places, I guess it's in Connecticut. This particular grant is $15,000. Okay, and it is to, it's interesting, you know, a lot of states and cities are trying to preserve our good national houses and, you know, like the museums and all that. So they're trying to keep that together. So you have to be in a historical area for this particular grant, so to apply. So I'm going to put that link there. There's another one here in Connecticut where the applications is from groups that include representation from BIPOC communities, which is Black, Indigenous, communities, to ensure that voices of people who lived experiences are incorporated into programs. So this grant is for $500 to $20,000, and I will put the link up there as well. In the state of Virginia, this is for nonprofits. There is a grant that is for those who are in the state of Virginia called the BlackLed Nonprofit Grant Loudoun in Loudoun County in Virginia. They want to be able to provide many grants to Black-led non-for-profit organizations that is serving in the Loudoun community. So if you're in the Loudoun County community, this grant would be for you. If you know someone who is in the Loudoun County community, let them know this as well. And the grant amount for this particular grant is $3,500. Okay. For if you live in the US, the UK, Connecticut, and Australia, I should say, this grant opened or is going to close, I think, what is this, April the 30th? The grant that I mentioned in Virginia is going to close April the 29th. And the grant that I mentioned in Connecticut is going to close April the 29th. This particular grant for the UK, United States, Canada, and Australia, this particular grant is going to close April the 30th, okay? And it's called the Digital Lift Grant for Nonprofits. And what this does, this grant helps nonprofits with digital transformation through this particular grant that is going to be funded through the SaaS or any other type of software. It's for $1,000, okay? If you are in the US, I'm doing all US-based grants at this right now. There's called the Black Land and Power Fund, okay? The BlackLed and Power Fund. This is a US grant, so that means it's not centrally located, but you do have to have your nonprofit here in the United States of America. That the National Black Food and Justice Alliance, which is the NBFJA, is a coalition of Black-led organizations that help with the development of Black leadership, supporting Black communities, and organizing, for Black self-determination and building institutions for Black food sovereignty and liberation. Here is another one. It does not tell me what the amount of the grant is. You will have to go on the website and see what the amount and the fine details on that particular grant. This particular grant is for women, and it's called Women's Sports Foundation Move Together Grant. This is for the United States. This grant is going to close May the 31st, okay? This particular grant is racial equity to ensure that kindergarten and 12th graders and higher education systems have the support they need. Eligible applicants must demonstrate that their program meets the following criteria. Offers existing programming elements, or has the ability to develop new programming or enhancement that promote multi-generational connections between girls and women, okay? Delivers and provides access to sports, to fitness, or movement based on programming as a primary focus, serving predominantly girls and women. This is a take on a holistic approach to programming that considers physical, mental, social, and or emotional needs of the girls and women who participate. It has the ability to sustain long-term programming after the life of the funding has expired. So once you don't have any money, your program should still be viable. The amount for this particular grant is $5,000 to $10,000. Okay, so and here is another one for Louisiana and Louisiana and Mississippi. This grant is going to close July the 9th, 2022. All types of organizations, private, public, Nonprofit are invited to submit a letter of inquiry. And this particular grant name is called Building Power in BIPOC Communities, okay? So you have to submit a letter of inquiry and to apply for this particular grant. And I have another one here in Maryland, which I love Maryland. I was in Maryland maybe about three weeks ago. Love the food. The food was good. Love good food. So the African American Heritage Preservation Program, which is in the state of Maryland, the construction related projects are eligible for assistance. Projects may include acquisition, rehabilitation, capital improvements, new construction. Oh, this is a really, I would be interested in this grant if I had a place in Maryland. So construction, pre-development costs such as studies, surveys, plans, and specifications, and agricultural, architectural, engineering, and other special service directly related to pre-construction work for a capital project. The amount of the grant is $10,000 to $50,000 to $100,000. I'm sorry. So it's the grant for this Maryland grant is from $10,000 to $100,000. And so I'm definitely going to put that grant there. Okay, so that was for nonprofits. Now I am here on for this particular grant is for business, small business. If you are in small business, you are an entrepreneur and you need a grant for your business, I am going to tell you as much as I can because there are a plethora of grants. Now, this is the question that I will, if you are, because there's so many grants that and I have to pick and choose. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And if you want my list, you know, you pay $1, $5 for the whole list. You can get a whole list for business grants if you're interested in that, because there is definitely more than what I can do within a 1 hour time. Okay, so let's get to it. This is the Emerging Young Entrepreneurs Program. I'm all for young people becoming entrepreneurs. They're looking for, this is throughout the whole United States. This is not area specific, but you must be United States. It doesn't tell me the amount of the grant on how much you would be awarded, but they're looking for minority entrepreneurs ages 19 to 35. Year-long program. It's a 1-year program that will provide a pathway to certification along with highly interactive virtual learning experience with business development workshops and education courses. Okay, so this is a grant to get the knowledge that you will need. And 9 times out of 10, sometimes when you participate in these, I call them accelerator programs, when you participate in them, that they do try to find financial resources for you. So accelerator program is not a bad idea. One, you're getting knowledge and you're getting finance, okay? So here's another one. This is the accelerator program, and this is through Sally Beauty Cultivate Accelerator Program. The Sally Beauty Cultivate Accelerator Program is for $15,000. And if you apply, you have to be a US-based business that owns an innovative beauty product or line that fills the gap in the market or have an established product in the market with proof of traction. So it can't be, oh, I want to try this new particular, I want to try this new thing and I want to see if I can get money for it. And once I get done with these grants too, I want to catch you up on some news because there is some critical news with the SBA. So just hang tight and I may interject it while I am doing this. In Indianapolis, it's called the Indianapolis African American Quality of Life Initiative. It's a grant, it's funding, is restricted to organizations that are public charities described in Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Preference will be given to organizations that are African American led and that is embedded in a community serving African American residents in the Marion County of Indiana. All right. And that grant is $50,000 to $500,000. I am going to do another widespread grant. This is the Black Founders Build with Amazon. And I think I mentioned Amazon before where they open it up again. You have until April the 24th, and it is $100,000. The companies that are going to be selected for this particular program, and they did not say how many companies would be selected, is that you have an opportunity to receive $100,000, which is being an investment from the Alexa Fund. So, hey, Alexa, and individualized technology support from the Alexa Startup Solution Architects and Business Development teams. Founders will receive invitations to speak at events, participate in panel discussions, and demo showcase. That means your company has to have previously raised at least, okay, before you apply for this grant, here's the thing, you have to have at least raised $250,000 in funding. Okay, you need to have that to participate with the Black Founders Build with Amazon grant. Very interesting. Now, Google has something that is very interesting as well. The Google Podcast Creator Program of 2022. It is a grant as well, and it's for $15,000. Google Podcast Creator Program provides independent audio makers from around the world, okay? But this one is specifically for the United States and for Canada, with the resources and skills and creative communities that make podcast production more productive and innovative. Now, I'm a little, I don't have a podcast currently at this time, for whatever reason. Has really been working for me as far as getting information out there. But I did think about doing a podcast, and I would like to know what could be more innovative than you're speaking on a mic. It must, I guess, because I only listen to a couple of podcasts, and people are talking and giving their opinions of how they feel about certain topics and everything like that. So I don't know how innovative or creative that podcast can become, because you can't see people unless you podcast live, which would be almost like being on YouTube or Facebook Live or Instagram Live. We have all these different, it's the same thing, but they're packaging things a little bit differently to me, to make it seem like it's bigger, but it's the same thing. You're just doing it on a different platform. Anyway, I digress. So the Camelback Ventures Fellowship, which is a fellowship that you have to be within the United States. The fellowship is $40,000. You must be in the early stage of entrepreneurship, and you have to be a woman of color. They are accepting organizations with 2 tracks, education and conscious tech. Okay, so somebody that's into technology, that is very important. There is a Black Founders Build with Amazon. I think we talked about this already. This was already on there, so it's on here twice. And is this all that I have? No, that is not all that I have. Okay, so there is a grant called the Northwestern Mutual Black Founders Accelerator program. Okay, they're going to invest $100,000 or a convertible note. They will have to explain to you in detail what it means to have a convertible note. The investment is going to go to 10 high growth startups per year, 2 cohorts of 5, founded by the Black entrepreneurs companies with founders of at least 20% ownership who identify as Black African Americans that can apply. The company must be in the following industries. Okay, so your company must be in these industries. You must be in fintech. You must be in insurtech, digital health, and data analysis. Okay, so you want to do that. Let me see if I can find you some more. Avino Skin Health Startup Accelerator Program is also the US. It is worth $100,000 for this particular program. And of course, Essence is also part of this particular grant program. Avino is looking for Black female identifying entrepreneurs with a product, a brand, or technology that meets the skin and hair care needs of Black consumers. Create a 1 to 2 minute video. That's what you need to do. Introducing yourself, your business, and why you got started. So a 1 to 2 minute video with your application to apply for the Essence grant that they partner up with Avino. So Avino is the one who's going to be giving away the money. And again, that is for $100,000. Now, this grant is worldwide. It's called the Show Us Grant by Getty Images. And the Show Us Grant is $5,000. And what you do is you have to submit, photographs or videos, okay? So the submission needs to shatter the stereotypes in conventions celebrating women and aging and showing that beauty has no age limit. I'm 54, so beauty has no age limit. And all experience are valid, welcome, and appreciated. Judges will give particular consideration to photographers and videographers who are depicting authentic stories of women, femmes, and non-binary individuals in their local community. And so Getty's is giving away this particular grant, and again, it's $5,000. So here is something called the Breakthrough Grant by JP Morgan Chase, Advancing Black Pathways. Black and Latino women, okay, who are in business, who are registered at least for a year. So that means your business, what they mean by registered, that you're registered with the state, not just a DBA. Have a technology component incorporated in their business, like a website or a mobile app. You must generate a minimum of $50,000 annually of revenue to participate with this grant, and the grant amount is $5,000, okay? Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware that Chick-fil-A also gives grant. It's called the Chick-fil-A True Inspiration Awards Grants. And it is for the US and for those that live in Canada, okay? If you live in Canada and in the United States, and you must have your 501c3, must be based in the US or Canadian charitable organization. The closing on this particular grant time is May the 30th, and it starts at $30,000 to $350,000. You want to go to the ChickfilA.com, and I'm going to put that grant there to know what are the specifics for that particular grant. And I think 30 to 50,000, just getting $30,000 is a nice penny. Okay. This is called the Jobber Grants for Home Service Businesses. There's a lot of us who either we have a satellite office or we work from home. This is for those who have a home service business or aspiring business. You must be 18 years of age, reside in the US and Canada, excluding Quebec, okay? Now, this grant is for $2,500 to $15,000, and you're going to apply on the link that I'm going to give you is jobbergrants.org, okay? Here's another US Canadian grant. It's called the Atomic Grant. It is for those who identify as a woman. So the Atomic Grant is available to those who identify as a woman, and you must be 21 years or older. Okay, you can live anywhere, live world, anywhere in the US, okay, in the world, actually, as long as you have a way to receive the money digitally and you are connected via email and social media. So I'm going to read that again because this is a US and Canadian grant. However, you can live anywhere in the world, okay? As long as you have a way to receive the money digitally and you are connected via email and social media. So they open it, they're going to be, have the availability for this grant. It's gonna close May the 31st, okay? And the grant is for $1,500. So you want to read the directives, what's going on with that particular grant. And I'm going to say what the name is called, Atomic Grants. Okay, Atomic Grants. And here is another one called Fearless Strivers. This is a grant for $10,000. It's open to Black women who are legal US residents, including the DC area. You must be 18 and over and the principal owner of a US-based small business. And so you want to, I'll definitely put that link down there. Now I'm gonna move on over to scholarships, okay, for scholarships for those that are looking for scholarships and are in need of scholarship if you're trying to go back to school, okay? So the deadline for this particular grant is going to be April the 25th, 2022. The name of the grant is Scholarships African American Leaderships for Tomorrow. What you need to do, you're gonna need to do an essay, okay? It has to be typewritten on a separate page. It needs to also include your name, which has to be on the top of the page. You need to make sure that your response pertains to all the questions that are asked, and each response must be 300 to 500 words, okay? The essay is on leadership. Discuss your leadership ability and potential, including the explanation of why you feel you are qualified to participate in this conference, because they're going to be having a conference, okay? And essay 2 is a personal statement. You're going to write a descriptive piece about your goals, your achievements, or any obstacles that you have encountered during your academic life. And even though some of that you have overcome, because everyone loves a good story, right? So explain why attending the college is important to you. And you can also write about your preferred colleges, your area of study where you want to attend college and where you want to focus on. You want to complete the website registration form, and you're going to email both essays. So you're going to have 2 separate essays. You're going to write about leadership, and then you're going to write about yourself. And then also send a photo. They want to know what you look like. The amount of the grant is not, they did not give how much they're going to be giving out, okay? Here is another one for STEM. The STEM is the STARS Actual Scholarship Program. It is a high school senior college student with one birth parent who is Black, Middle Eastern, North American, Latina, or Native American, and probably also Polynesian, okay, with a GPA of 3.0 or SAT math at 600 or ACT at 21, and demonstrate an acumen in math, algebra, and calculus. Okay, so they're looking for you if you love algebra and calculus and you have really a great understanding of that, that is good. Here is another scholarship. Lancome is giving a scholarship called Write Her Future Scholarship. And it's for Black students as well. So students of color who identify as female, okay, pursuing an undergraduate degree. The application must be a graduating high school senior enrolling in a 4-year taxes exempt academic institution. Additionally, applications must be a member of the NAACP and also be a registered participant of the ACT-SO program. And this is Write Her Future Scholarship by Lancome. And the amount of the scholarship is $10,000. So that's really, that's great. So there are some more great opportunities for you that can be in any particular state that you may be interested in, like how to start your own business. You want to go to usa.gov, start business. And these are just a few things that you definitely want to take a look at. And talking about the SBA, because that was a great lead in for me to give you this news, that there may be a possible possible PPP, but they don't call it that. They don't call it the PPP. It's under another name, okay? They haven't released the date yet on when they're going to release it. And I am absolutely sure that for this particular grant, and I'm not sure if you've already done your taxes, you know, which would be your business taxes portion. If you are a LLC or sole proprietor, you're going to be using a Schedule C tax form. And that Schedule C tax form, and that's if you have not been, if you haven't transferred over with the IRS as a, to be considered as a S Corp. Okay, so you're going to use a Schedule C. This is what I'm thinking that they're going to do. And this is not etched in stone. I don't know anything any different. This is just my own sense, is that in order to qualify for that particular grant that's going to be quote unquote like the PPP, but underneath a different name, okay, the consideration is going to be possibly the same way in making sure that you had a loss in your business, okay? So maybe a 20% plus loss in your business from last year. So you need to have shown that you had a loss in your business from the previous year, as what we did during the PPP. You had to show that you had a 20%, 25% loss of income. So if you haven't done your Schedule Cs, make sure that you kind of like calculate that, that your numbers are correct and be consistent with those numbers. Also, on the other hand, if you're doing 1120s, 1120S, 1065s, same for you as well. Because if you have an increase, then, you know, we're just like, they just released the mask yesterday or today, the mask mandate from being in public areas have been released. I'm still wearing my mask because I know something else is coming down the pipe, and I'm just saying what I'm saying because I don't trust it for right now. I'm waiting until 2023 to have anything big or to take my mask off. I'm sorry. In certain areas where I'm comfortable with, I may take it off if I'm like in my own space, but I'm wearing it. But I digress. Going back to the PPP from previous, again, the SBA is going to be launching something else, because guess what? They still have a lot of money. They still have a lot of money. So even those that have been in reconsideration, that money is still on the table, and they're doing things. They got to get rid of it. They have to get rid of that funding, because that's what the funding was for small businesses. Okay, so that's something. So there is a thing called the Save the Small Business Initiative. You want to go to the uschamber.com, save-small business. So I will give you that information, and then also check with your. I would suggest that you check with your local SBA centers. please use them. The services there are free. I'm getting ready to do something something different with my stuff, and I need the SBA to do that, because I know there's people going to be coming behind me who are going to need my consulting, because they're going to want to do what I'm getting ready to do for their stuff too, specifically if you have multiple businesses. So it's more than just you having 5 different LLCs. It goes beyond that. Great, congratulations, to you, wonderful, but there's other things that goes with that as well. If you are a writer or a photographer, there are grants that's out there for you as well. This is a worldwide grant, and I'm going back to that, called the Filmmakers Without Borders grant. This one closes June the 1st. And I don't have the financial resources on how much that grant is going to be. And then also, this is another grant for US and Canada. It's for Black, Indigenous, and all peoples of color who are emerging filmmakers, which we have a lot of talented filmmakers and video makers, and I'm talking about that's really in the industry. If you're trying to break into this particular industry and you live in Canada or the United States, the Black, Indigenous, of all people of color who are emerging filmmakers, absolutely no experience is required, no location restrictions, and they are inviting the global community, and it's for $1,500, okay, for this particular grant. Here's a grant for Africa, Asia, and South America. It's aimed at young filmmakers who live in Africa, who live in Asia or Latin America. There's a $10,000 grant, and that particular grant closes on the August the 15th, and that grant is called the Alter Scene Film Grant, okay? The Alter Scene Film Grant. The grant that I was talking about before is $1,500. It's the BIPOC Filmmaker Grant of 2022 for the United States and Canada. And that one closes June the 15th. And the Women Photography Grant, now this is really interesting. Getty Images have a separate grant for women photographers. It's an inclusion grant program that can be used to cover hard costs of reporting, photographers' creative fees, and any other expenses that support the production of new work. This particular grant is not meant to support the production of books and exhibitions, workshops, or other secondary materials. Applicants are encouraged to submit a story rather than singles as part of the grant application. The images need not be related to the project proposal, so you have to do a proposal. This particular grant closes May the 15th and is for $5,000, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I really want to really update everyone on this news of more than what the SBA said. There's a lot of different things that's happening with business. If you're not paying attention, that's going on within the news, I would suggest that that you get in touch again with your SBA within your community. They do have consultants that will dedicate their time to you. They also have, I get the newsletter and information from SBA on a regular basis on workshops and things like that. And if I'm not interested, I'm not interested. You don't have to do it, but to save time and to be in the know, it's a great idea for you to be connected to certain resources and certain people. So again, I am Christina L Turner, Kingmaker. I thank you so much for tuning in today on this Tuesday. I so wish you have such an awesome week this week, that you be your authentic self this week, that you love this week, that you encourage somebody that needs encouragement this week without you even having to ask, that you operate in integrity this week. Please operate in integrity and in good character. So I will see you guys soon. And I wish that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. God bless.